Hi all, how you doing? Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. Okay, so I've watched this a couple of hours ago. I was actually in the chat. So this is a great Gurhan Kizilos Get Out of Our Project AMA that was featured on the Blockdag Investors YouTube channel. I was actually attending it live as well. I was in the chat, although I don't think our chat was being monitored. I think there's a few things going on at the same time. So I don't think our chat was really the biggest priority, which is a bit frustrating. A lot of people were saying like this is pre-recorded and things like that because they felt like none of our questions were being looked at in the slightest. They did get looked at later, so a couple of my questions um, got asked. Did they get answered? Absolutely not. Okay. So a couple of the questions that I wanted asked or that I sort of came up with through the process was Antony interviewed? Okay, and the other question was um, which company, uh, which lawyers is he using for the transition? Okay, so the idea is that this blog dag is going to be transitioned to Antony Turner. Okay. And apparently it's going to take several months because his lawyers are working onto it, and it's going to take several months for all the uh, dots to be dotted and T's to be crossed and all of that kind of thing, apparently. So one of the questions was, I just want to know who his law firm were that he was using, and I think it's a legitimate question because it just sort of provides, if he can at least give us a law firm, then maybe one person can send an email just to verify that they are actually working on this, and it's just not smoke and mirrors, that kind of thing. Um, but he said no at the time. He said he wasn't going to give that information out. I think obviously because if you give that information out, you might have like 2,000 people suddenly going to the law firm, sending them emails and phoning them up and all of that kind of thing. So I kind of get that. So what I would consider going forward would be that if one person has maybe told who the law firm is who can be trusted, that you can contact them and prove that he has got a law firm who's actually working with to deal with this transition. So that would be my sort of thing that I would want going forward. Now, the other question was, how did he get interviewed for this job? Because obviously, in the last sort of AMA, he admitted that he wasn't actually the proper kind of CEO. Um, so he's kind of working under instruction from somebody else, but he's keeping note that that person or that entity kind of a secret. Um, so a lot of people feel like, this is an AMA is ask me anything kind of thing, but yeah, we may be able to ask you anything, but you're kind of not answering anything. You just keep on saying, "Well, I can't really answer that question." Okay, or you don't want to answer that question. I don't know what it is, kind of thing. Um, so it's becoming very frustrating. People are asking, where is the money, kind of thing. I mean, if you've invested $20,000 into this project, I think it's a pretty reasonable question to ask. What is the breakdown of how the money's been spent? If money's been spent, are we paying for the sponsorship? Have we paid for the miners? Because the other question as well is the miners have been paid for separately. So obviously there's a pre-sale and there's miners have been bought. Okay, so if that's like separate money, why hasn't the miners been bought? Okay. Or why hasn't a deposit been put down or something like that? So maybe you're still working on the miners to get them the right configuration that you need for this project. Um, but why hasn't there been like a deposit been paid or something like that? So a lot of people are worried that maybe this minor money has also been given to somebody else to manage, and maybe that money is now gone. Okay, a lot of people are worried that the money's now gone. Um, but just going back to the point of when I wanted Reed to ask the question, who interviewed you? Okay, so and he refused basically to answer that question. What it did show was that he hasn't been with this project from the get-go. Okay, so it's not his project. It's clearly someone else's. And he's also admitted that the white paper and stuff that he had nothing to do with the first initial white paper, which is very Casper orientated. And but he was responsible for like the second or third or second and third white papers that he did with one of his colleagues, and he helped kind of with that. Okay, or he helped coordinate it, whatever you want to word it. But the point is, it's been very telling that he's basically admitted that he wasn't on board this project from the get-go. Okay, I mean, I think most people pretty much realize that Antony Turner has never been fully in charge of this project, and that someone else is really in charge of it. And the reality is that Antony Turner is really just a front. He's just like the face of this project. Um, but also, a lot of people want Antony Turner to take this project further and be the, the full CEO, okay, of this project. I just think that's an impossibility because the fact is, Anthony Turner's lied on multiple occasions. And how can you have a CEO who's constantly lying? So, for example, I mean, I tried to find a clip of where Anthony Turner says, so I'm sure in one of the past AMAs, and maybe one of you guys can find this, but I'm sure in one of the past AMAs, or it might not have been an AMA, he talks about how he kind of came up with the idea of Blockdag, or you know, he came up with the idea, the vision, or something like that. Well, the thing is, he didn't. All right, he wasn't even involved in this project when the first white paper come up. So it's not his project. So he clearly lied about having this kind of vision of this Blockdag or this project. He's lied that he came up with this idea or he wanted to do this. The bottom line is he's just a paid for face to front Blockdag, and he's kind of slowly worked out what's going on in this project, and so it's complete lies basically from him to say that he kind of created it or he came up with the initial spark, let's say. Okay, he had nothing to do with it. Um, this initial spark wasn't really a spark in my opinion. This is just purely copying another idea and getting something out there which could have some sort of which people could sort of believe in, okay, and therefore people would invest in. And that was all this project was about to begin with. It was clearly just a money raising scheme, okay? Create some sort of uh, interest with some technical, I'd say word salad, basically. The initial white salad was just a load of word salad based on the Casper kind of white paper. So they took a hell of a lot of that and just put something together, cobbled something together to make it look as if it was some sort of proper project. And that's what I believe happened. And then obviously somebody wanted, because it got so big, the people sort of demanded that the team show their faces. And then Anthony Turner was then drafted in to be the face. And he then pretended to be the creator and he was just sort of in the background and now he's come forward to show himself. Okay. That was pure lies. Okay. That was complete lies. And that's what I don't understand how people can say, yeah, we want Anthony Turner to, carry this project through. It's utterly ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't see how anyone else can carry this through. The other things, the tokenomics are just crazy. Like they've sold way too many. They've given out so many bonuses and stuff like that. So if you bought into this project, when you put your money in, you got like 10 times as many tokens or even 24 times as many tokens as the initial kind of sort of the baseline tokens. I think that's what they call it. When you're buying the certain tokens, then you get these bonus tokens. I just think the whole project's impossible because I think you're just going to have lawsuits. People were going to say, well, I bought this with the idea of getting 10x bonus tokens, or 500% bonus tokens, whatever number. And this is the thing, these people scattered all over this project, all over it at different points where they bought at certain points and they've only bought at those certain points to get those bonuses. So I just think this it's untenable, this project. Okay. Uh, Even if you have like a new CEO, completely new CEO, I just don't see how this project is tenable at all. And that's why I believe there should be an option five, and that is people should be allowed to get their money back. I mean, maybe what you can do somehow is, give the people who want the money back their money back, and anyone who wants to sort of trust in Anthony Turner, if they want to trust him, then that's fine. It's their money kind of thing, and they can vote on it or something. But yeah, this AMA, I just don't think they focused on what was important, and that is getting the money. Okay, when are they going to get the money back? So there's no questions. No, nothing was answered in terms of how much money's left. I think Reed kind of touched on it later on, saying pretty much that. I mean, this is his kind of figure that he felt that people were going to get, like, if they wanted a refund, they would get like 10% of the money back. But I mean, I don't know where that figure comes from at all. I don't know where the figure comes from. I think most of the money should in theory be there because if you look at the sort of the price of when people were putting the money in. Like Ethereum was like at like 1,500, and now it's like over 3,000, or it's been at over 4,000. I mean, have they converted their tokens? See, this is the thing, we just don't know, and that's why you need to do a full financial audit as well. A full financial audit should be done by a proper financial firm, not Certic or something like that. There, no. A full financial audit should be done. A full track of all the wallets, how the money is moved around, and everything like that. That should be out there in the open. Um, and in that way, you'd find out exactly how much money's left and how much money was squandered or whatever, how much money was actually used to pay for sponsorship and marketing and um, programming and that kind of thing, and various other tech things. So yeah, this AMA, in my opinion, it didn't really get any decent answers. I mean, some of the answers uh, were basically, positive answers where he actually gave a proper answer was just trivial stuff, were totally unimportant stuff. At this moment in time, the most important thing is where is the money basically? And that was the question that was getting asked a lot. Where the hell is the money? People are putting 20,000 and they want to know where it is. And the other thing that people can't understand is if they're still working out, if there's still some sort of transition, why are they still sort of trying to push this project? Why are they still trying to market it and get people to buy more tokens when the tokenomics are completely screwed up? They should just put the whole thing, the pre-sale should just be put on pause, basically. Nobody should be able to buy any tokens. They shouldn't be offering any more tokens at this moment in time until they sort out what is actually going to happen. Because all they're doing is creating a bigger headache. If more people keep buying tokens, it's just a bigger headache. More wallets to sort out. Um, so also, in my opinion, that's also a bit of a red flag in that the pre-sale is continuing. You know, everything should be basically stopped at this moment in time until they work out a proper way forward. Um, because nobody really knows where this project is going. And but I think the whole thing's untenable. Okay, that's my theory. That's my idea about this. People should be able to get the money back, and if they want to then set up a new project, it'd actually be easier to set up again from scratch, pretty much. Although I should imagine you should be able to take certain amount of this tech forward. Um, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you would need some sort of agreements and stuff, and you might have to buy what they've created already, possibly. Okay. But I don't know how much tech is actually sort of brand new, or whether it's been taken from another chain or whatever, or whether they are taking it from other technicians, I guess. That would be the way. So yeah, okay, I'm waffling a bit now. So I'm going to call it quits there, but I don't think this is a very good AMA, and most people kind of said that the questions did not get answered, and the this title was very clickbaity. Uh, I think it's purposely done clickbaity. It wasn't really, like I said, it wasn't really targeted um, towards the investors. It was more targeted to the person in the title. So I think I'm going to end it there anyway. Let me know in the comments, and if you do know where Antony Turner says stuff about how he kind of created it, I can't remember exact wording and stuff he used because it was probably a few months ago, but I'm pretty certain that Antony Turner sort of said about the spark and stuff like that of the project and how he came up with it when we now know for certain that, and he's also pretty much, well, he's admitted it, that he's not in charge. Okay, he's not the CEO, and it wasn't him who came up with the initial white paper and anything to do with that. So yeah, okay. Let me know in the comments anyway. Have a good day, and let's hope this something positive comes out of this whole complete mess that this Blockdag project is.